Remember the other day when I said I was going to Trader Joe's?
I know. I was shocked.
Do you know why I really went?
Yeah, it dawned on me. First, I was like, gosh, she's going to go shopping at Trader Joe's. But no, you went for the wine.
That's right. It wasn't for the peanut butter pretzels or the frozen gnocchi. It was for the wine. And we're going to tell you if the trip was worth it or not.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Wow.
If you're new to our podcast, here is a quick orientation. Each week, we explore a different wine varietal or blend like Pitpool or Valpolicella or Malbec, and dive into what these wines are, what makes them special, and why finding new wines to learn about is so dang fun.
I mean, so fun.
So fun. And our goal is to help you expand your wine knowledge in a fun way, so fun again, that is understandable and accessible to regular people, not just wine nerds like us.
Right. So fun is the theme.
Fun is the theme.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
I'm having a blast.
Yes, I agree. We also taste 2 to 3 wines under $25 each and share our scores and recommendations with you to help you find great wines without breaking the bank. So thank you so much for joining us, and we are proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
Chatty,
and entertaining. Okay, and just to be a little braggy brag, Carmela, for just a minute.
Okay.
I just want to say that we are consistently finding ourselves in the top 100 of food podcasts on Apple Podcasts in the U.S. You heard me right. You heard me right.
Amazing.
Not just wine podcasts, food podcasts.
I mean, come on, it is the 5th food group. So
it is a food.
I mean, it's
a food podcast.
We consider
that's
it
right.
a food.
That's right. So I think that's pretty cool that we're in that top ranking. And we want to thank everybody who listens to us regularly for that and who tell your friends and family about us, because it means a lot to us. And it's nice to know that maybe we're making an impact in the world.
That's so cool. Wow.
Carmela, it has been about 6 months since we did a Trader Joe's wine episode. And so I think it's time we went back to the well and did a review of another one of the tiers of Trader Joe's house label wines.
Okay.
Right? Because our Trader Joe's, for a few reasons, really, our Trader Joe's and Costco Kirkland brand episodes are some of our most popular episodes in terms of both downloads and also the Google machine.
I believe it.
I'm always looking at data, and the Google machine likes Trader Joe's and Costco.
Wow. Do you think we'd show up on like a chat GPT?
I probably.
Okay.
I think we would.
Let's try it.
I think we would.
Okay.
Now, I mentioned this before, but I think part of the reason why these episodes are popular on the Google machine, etc., is that professional wine reviewers and wine publications usually kind of ignore the house brand wines like those from Costco and Trader Joe's, which is too bad and kind of dumb because, you know, a lot of people buy those wines.
Well, sure. They're affordable and they're accessible. I mean, why not?
Yeah. So let's do a little thing here. Let's a show of hands. Show of hands.
Okay, I'm ready.
How many of you have a Trader Joe's brand wine or Costco Kirkland wine in your house right now? Come on. Don't be shy. I see your hand, but I want to see everybody else. Don't be shy. Even if you're driving.
Like participation points.
Yeah.
Honey.
Even if you're driving
working.
or on a walk. No, it's going to work. Raise your hand.
Don't wait, but not both hands.
No,
just one, especially if you're driving.
Exactly. Okay, you can put them down now. But did you see what I saw, Carmela?
Do you see what?
No, nope, wrong season. Did you see what I saw?
I did.
Basically, everyone had a hand up.
Everybody.
That's right. So we'll talk in a bit about why Trader Joe's wines are so popular, but I did want to go through the different tiers of the wines at Trader Joe's. Again, we've done this before, but I think it's useful because it can be a little bit confusing, and because the wine we are focusing on today is specifically the reserve tier. And the expectation very often with these wines is that each tier could be equivalent to wines 2, maybe even 3 times more expensive, although that's just an approximation.
Right.
So the lowest tier, which surprise nobody, it is $2 Chuck.
$2 Chuck.
That's right, or Charles Shaw wines. And this
he looks at me like I have the script.
Well, you should know that. $2 Chuck is not a hard one.
I wasn't listening. No, I get it.
As usual. Okay, now $2 Chuck is the wine that made Trader Joe's wine famous. And it happened for a variety of reasons. We're going to discuss some of that later. But that is the lowest tier. The next tier, The fifth tier, there are 6 tiers. Trader Joe's Petite Reserve, and I think also coastal wines. They have this brand like coastal wines. I think I would put that in there. They usually sell in the like $5.99 to $7.99 range, and they're kind of considered to be hit or miss, which you'd kind of expect from wines about that price. The fourth tier is the one that we're doing today. It's the Trader Joe's Reserve. It just says Reserve, not Petite Reserve or Grand Reserve. It's just Reserve.
Okay.
And these wines are in the $9.99 range, so they tend to be very popular.
Wow.
And they're considered to be, by most people, decent wines.
Okay.
Decent wines, right? The third tier is Trader Joe's Grand Reserve. They're usually around $12.99, and they used to be the top of the line of Trader Joe's wines, and they're generally considered to be pretty good quality. We did an episode on them a little while ago. The second tier is Trader Joe's Platinum Reserve, and they're $14.99 and up, and they're considered to be high quality, and they don't last a long time on the shelves. And the story here is that if you see them, you should probably buy them, but you may want to check out our episode on the Platinum Reserve wines before you do so, because they still, from our perspective, they still vary in quality.
Right.
And then the highest tier, the phantom tier, the tier that's hardest to find, is the Diamond Reserve. They're hard to find. They're priced at $19.99 usually. And now you're starting to get in the price range where people kind of want to know a little bit more about what they're buying. I think once you hit about that, people are going to be a little bit more discerning.
Right. So people, what you're saying is that they're just not stocked, or there's not many of them at each location.
That's right. And they tend to fly off the shelves. Like if they're there, if you see a Diamond Reserve, you should probably buy it. I did. I found one.
Wow.
And so we'll use it in an episode in the future. But Diamond Reserves, if you find it, buy it. Whatever.
So do they alert people that they're available?
They have a flashing red light and they just send it out.
No, really?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not on their...
The wine, it's dropped. Like, do they have a drop?
I don't know, but I'll just say I'm not on their list, and there's a reason why, and we'll talk about that in a minute too.
Okay.
But now that we've covered that basic information on how you can interpret the Trader Joe's wine labels, it's time to talk about why Trader Joe's wines are so popular. And we have 3 Trader Joe's reserved wines that we're going to taste and review today to let you know if any of them are any good. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and for supporting our show. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, now would be the perfect time to follow or subscribe to our podcast. And a huge thank you to all of you who've done that. And another great way to support us is to leave a nice 5-star, if you don't mind, rating and review on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That's a great way to help us grow our listeners. And you can also follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying today, and weird AI pictures and even AI videos sometimes that I like to make on Instagram at the Wine Pair Podcast. We're on Blue Sky as well. If you're curious, we post differently there and more often there, kind of a little bit more interactive. You can also contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can sign up for our email newsletter there, and you can also visit our shop wine section. So we put our top rated wines, the ones that, and we buy our own wines. We're not sponsored, anything like that. We buy our own wines. So we give you honest reviews. And if we think a wine is 7 or higher, we think you should buy it. And now there's a little spot on our website where you can click on it and you can buy that wine.
So cool.
And since it's been a couple of weeks since we've recorded an episode, now, not to confuse you, because we did release an episode last week, but that was an interview, and we do the interviews at different times, and then I edit them and release them when Carmela and I are like traveling, like we did last weekend, or other family stuff is coming up. And so we haven't recorded a podcast in a little while. And so I have a few shout outs, Carmela.
Okay.
We love the shout outs.
Yes,
you ready?
do.
First, a shout out to Tips to Live By on Blue Sky and Instagram. She always reposts us, and so we really appreciate that.
Nice.
And also a new friend, JM Kaiser on Blue Sky. Shout out to Angela and A-Bear, also known as East Idaho Foodies on Instagram. And they asked us if we would consider doing Croatian wines, and we said, heck yeah, we would do that.
As long as we can take a trip there.
Someday maybe we will. I would like to do that. A shout out to Amy, who reached out to us on Blue Sky to let us know that she can't remember how she found us, but that we better not mess with her Prosecco. Let's just, she was not happy about the whole Prosecco,
Look,
Franciacorta thing.
We get
yeah,
that,
totally
it
understand.
is definitely a personal preference.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Now, a big one here, Stale, he confirmed in Norway that he got the stickers.
Oh,
So that's awesome. Thank you for sending us a note. Shout out to Eliza, who let us know she's moving to the Okanagan in April,
Oh, cool.
near and dear to our hearts. And she's going to be doing some wine. I don't know if she's, I think she's
Research.
working, there for a little bit. So
cool.
we told Eliza, if you find some wines you like, let us know. We'll share them out. And the other thing is, if you find our Uncle Max, will you let us know?
Oh, goodness, please.
If there is a
Yes.
short Swiss guy with a German accent walking around, he won't look like he's in his 90s, but he's in his 90s. Will you just let us know?
Yes, please.
We don't know where Uncle Max
We're worried about
it's
him.
not a joke.
No, actually, it's not.
It's
if
not
you
a
find
joke.
him,
It's
send
not
him
funny.
our way.
This is not funny.
Yeah.
And
Tell him to listen to the Wine Pair. I mean, at the very least, tell him to
Have
listen
him
to
listen.
the Wine Pair podcast.
Have you heard these?
Because that's the best way that we can grow our listeners.
That's my uncle. He doesn't even know what a podcast
He doesn't know.
is. He would have no idea.
You don't know. You don't know.
You're right. I don't know that. And I also want to give a shout out to Malachi at KTAH Radio in Tacoma. She's super supportive of us, always says nice things, puts us on the radio each week. So I really appreciate that.
I'm just thinking it, though. It's kind of a
God, are
funny.
you back to Uncle Max?
I'm thinking about Uncle
She's
Max.
back to Uncle Max.
If you found him, and the first thing you just said, is to listen to the Wine Pair podcast, and that's it. I mean, how do you think he'd feel?
Probably terrible. You probably feel terrible. But we really do want to find him.
I'm just imagining that. I don't know why. My mind wanders.
This could be the topic of another podcast, which is where is Uncle Max?
Oh
Where
my
in the
God.
world is Uncle Max?
Yeah, like a Where's Waldo?
Yeah, exactly, but not as funny.
No.
Okay, and as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair podcast to, because that's the best way for us to grow listeners when you tell your family and friends about us.
Uncle Max.
And Uncle Max. And this week, we want you to recommend us to Uncle Max and to anyone who shops a lot at Trader Joe's and buys wine there, but is never quite sure if they should like it or not. Because
Wow.
don't you think that happens? People are like, I don't know, I like
Well,
it.
people sometimes want to like things if it's a good price too. Like, wow, this
totally.
is so good, and then they wake up the next morning with a raging headache. And
It's so- Well, let's hope that doesn't happen to us.
Ooh, yeah. We'll
Okay.
let you know.
Okay, Carmela, we know Trader Joe's is recognized as a place for affordable quality, right?
Right.
And that is certainly true for people who buy the wines there. And we know that their wines are popular, but there isn't a ton of information available about just how much wine they sell. They kind of keep it a bit secret, which is a little annoying to me. And then when we get into the wines we selected section, we'll talk about that a little bit more, which is why I'm always a little sus about Trader Jose.
Wow.
But before we do that, let's talk about why their wines are so popular. And it really comes down to a few simple factors. What might some of those factors be, Carmelita?
Well, because they're inexpensive. They have a good variety.
Totally.
They have nice labels. No, I don't know.
No, I think this is awesome. Like she never gets the script, ladies and gentlemen,
No,
but
can
she
you
nailed
tell?
it.
I'm sure you all can tell.
Carmela, as usual, nailed it.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
she's very. I have to butter her up because I got to keep her psyched up for the podcast. But anyway, here are some reasons. First is affordability. So Trader Joe's, obviously, like you said, known for being value driven. It's true for their wines. $2 Chuck is the perfect example, which is now more like $4 Chuck. But it's basically, again, the wine that put Trader Joe's on the map. But again, they offer a wide variety of private label reserve wines, similar to what Costco does. They're all under $20, and people generally feel good about buying those wines because they're, like you said, affordable. If you find something that you think is a good value, you feel good about it.
Of
I
course.
totally agree with that. Quality is another reason, because cheap but bad is not
no
good value. No, it's not good value.
Right.
So despite the fact that they source their wines mostly from the bulk wine market, Trader Joe's reserve wines are consistently seen, as one website put it, quaffable, affordable, and over-deliver for their price point. Now, some reviewers feel that the quality of some of the reserve wines compares favorably with more expensive wines. So some reviewers say, hey, you get a platinum reserve wine, which is like $14.99. You could compare that to a $30 wine. So, that's good quality for the price. We call that
sure.
QPR, right?
Right.
Quality to price ratio. Another is, you mentioned this one, and this is one of actually the things that I really like about Trader Joe's, and that is the variety. Because their wine sections are not huge.
No.
But they have wines from all over the place, not just domestic, but international. Each store evidently stocks about 400 wines over the course of a year.
Well, and I will say, too, the stores are not typically that big.
Exactly.
And they have a good amount of space dedicated to wine.
Exactly. And even though it's a good amount of space, the footprint isn't huge for their wine section. But in that wine section, you can find wines, yes, from all over the U.S., but from Italy, Spain, Portugal, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, Argentina, Chile, and other countries. So that is actually a good thing. I like that about Trader Joe's, that it's not just about California wines. It's like, it's kind of cool that you can go to a spot that has reasonably priced wines and find wines from all over the world. I think that's a great thing.
And I think their write-ups are good.
I agree. They're entertaining.
Exactly, because Trader Joe's is a little bit entertaining.
And they also do, like, they'll tell you, oh, this is this person in the store's favorite wine.
Right.
And that's that,
personal touch on it.
Yeah.
Or spin.
In the marketing world, we call that social proof.
Oh,
right? Somebody has said
else
that
has tried it out.
And if they like it and you like it, then
friends.
Exactly. We're friendly.
We can be friends now.
Yeah. And the last one is kind of part and parcel of all this, but it's like discovery. So again, one really smart thing they do at Trader Joe's is they constantly rotate their inventory. And so I think that makes customers feel like they're kind of on a hunt. You're not always going to see the same thing every time you go, and that's kind of fun. You see these new wines. Ooh, hey, for $9, I'll try this wine, right?
Especially if you're adventurous.
Exactly.
If you're stuck in a wine rut, it's a good place to go.
I 100%, and not feel like you have to spend a ton of money.
Right.
So it's not rocket science, but it is, I think, pretty clever. And they're obviously doing something right because they sell a lot of wine, and people, as we said on the Google machine, are very curious about it. And there are people that love it. And then there are people like me that are a little skeptical.
Oh, boy.
So on that note...
That's kind of typical for you, though.
That I'm a little skep.
Yeah, a little bit.
I made that up.
I don't know. I was going to say that.
There's sus and skep.
Skep. Now you're skep, eh?
Yeah. Maybe you guys out there in listening land will start using that and attribute it back to us.
Wow, he's kind of skep. I mean, that could mean that just...
I'm a little skep of this.
Whoa. You come up with all kinds of new things, aren't you?
I think it's going to stick.
Okay, we'll find out.
Okay, on that note, I think it's time to learn a little bit about the wines that we selected for this episode. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Well, you're going to find this very interesting, but all the wines for this episode are under $25 each, Carmela.
Yeehaw.
And in fact, since they are all Trader Joe's Reserve wines, again, not Grand Reserve. I always say Grand, it's Grand Reserve.
Grand.
I know, I just like saying that. Or Platinum Reserve, but just plain old Reserve. They were all $9.99.
Oh,
and,
my God.
And you know what? They're reasonably easy to find because I bought them all at
Trader Joe's.
That's right. However, it can be pretty hit or miss on what Trader Joe's branded wine you're actually going to find in the store.
Okay.
So in order to be as precise as possible, I am going to give an annoying amount of detail about the name of each exact wine.
Oh,
including
boy, you can fast forward if you want.
No, you need to know this because it's very specific and you might not get this very specific wine. So because you taste one wine, it's not exactly the same as another wine.
Okay.
So I'm going to even give you the lot number.
No.
Yes, I am going to do it.
All right. That's nice. Right?
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
But even if you don't find the exact lot number, I think if you find a similar one, they should be reasonably close. But I want to be that specific. Okay, so the first wine we're going to drink today is the 2023 Trader Joe's Reserve Arroyo Seco Monterey County Chardonnay, lot number 262.
Wow.
Yeah, very specific.
Nice.
That's a long name,
job,
too. Yeah.
Joe.
Thank you. So as usual, it's hard to find out much information about these wines, but one thing I did note is that the wine label on the back does tell you who bottles the wine. And in this case, the bottler is Vino Eology LLC Sebastopol. So I asked ChatGPT. I asked for a little help.
Okay.
I asked it to do a little snooping, and they could not find any information that linked Vino Eology to Trader Joe's. They couldn't make that link to Trader Joe's.
Oh my.
But the company is not noted as a bottler. So even though the wine bottle says that they're the bottler, they're not noted as a bottler. ChatGPT didn't find that. Instead, they help connect companies to suppliers that bottle, and they seem to be affiliated with some company called Kukeri Wines, which may provide the production and bottling for Trader Joe's. Which brings me to a bigger topic, which is why I'm always a little bit sus about Trader Joe's.
And skep.
Why? I'm skep about them. Why are they so opaque about who's doing their work?
Because maybe they want to be that
mysterious.
Right, why not?
It's
If
kind
they
of
can be that way, let them be that way.
well, whatever. It's kind of like Severance, right? Mysterious but important.
If you haven't watched that, that's a good one.
Ooh, we're
They
hooked.
don't drink a lot of wine in that show.
They don't. They don't.
They don't need wine in that show.
But back to wine. They
Okay,
don't. They've got that thing in their head. They don't need the wine.
Lord, we don't know what the wine would do to them.
Exactly. But anyway, I have a hard time trusting a company that seems so fun and so positive with their funny shirts and their friendly
And their
staff.
bell. Ding, ding, ding,
Exactly.
ding, ding. Do you know the
But
bell?
I know, but then they're cagey about their business practices.
Maybe they don't keep a lot of data.
I don't believe that one bit, Carmelita.
I mean, I'm just making that up. But, maybe not everybody is like a data head like you.
Okay, well, you can believe that if you wish, but I think that they're sus. I'm skep.
Oh,
okay,
my.
but there is a website called Cheap Wine Finder, and they gave some information that they found on the Trader Joe's Fearless Flyer about this wine. That's their flyer that they send out, if you can trust the Fearless Flyer.
Wow, now we're worried about that.
That's right.
Okay.
They say that the flyer indicates that the producer used 50% French oak barrels and 50% American oak barrels. And as we've mentioned in the past, French oak tends to be a little bit softer in flavor than American oak, but they don't indicate if they use new or used barrels because used barrels impart less flavor. So my guess is that this is a Chardonnay. It's going to be a pretty oaky Chardonnay because it's all oak. And then one last note, the grapes for this wine come from Arroyo Seco, which is in the Salinas Valley in Central California, about 40 miles from the coast. And it's a place that we have driven through many times, Carmela, when our daughter was at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. It's beautiful, but it's also warm. And so it's 40 miles from the coast. So it's not like right on the coast. So I think this wine is going to be ripe because warm weather is going to create, riper grapes.
It's going to be flavorful.
Flavorful. It could be a little bit
Too
overpowering.
much. I don't know.
Well, here's the other thing is this wine
You're
is
making me already feel like it's too much.
I know. You know how we feel about Chardonnay in general, but the wine is over 14% alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah, so get ready to get loaded.
Woo.
Okay, the next wine we're going to drink is the 2023 Trader Joe's Reserve Paso Robles Zinfandel lot number 265. Again, super difficult to find. I got to be this precise. You can't find out much about the wine, but it does come from Paso Robles, which is very well known for Old Vine Zinfandel. Now, this didn't say Old Vine Zinfandel. It just said Zinfandel, so I don't think it's Old Vine. That's a guess because you don't know. You can't find out much about the wine. The bottle says it is bottled by Beckett Family Paso Robles. Now, I did find information out about them. They are the founders of Peachy Canyon Winery.
Oh,
And
I like that name.
And they specialize in Zinfandel and Rhone varietals. Rhone varietals are like Grenache and Syrah, and they were one of the earliest wineries in Paso. Now, interestingly enough, and I'm going to go on random tangents here, the sons of the founders of Beckett family founded Chronic Cellars Wines, and they focus a lot on red blends, and they have interesting named wines like Dead Nuts Paso Robles Red Blend, Nightmare with a K, Nightmare, get it? Rays in Hell, R-A-Y-S in Hell, and Love Machine. They have a wine called Love Machine.
Oh, my.
Anyway, on to the next wine. The last wine is the 2022 Trader Joe's Reserve Horse Heaven Hills Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah lot number 261.
Horse Heaven.
So Horse Heaven Hills is right here in the great state of Washington.
Oh, okay.
It is actually a very well-known wine region in the very south-central area of the state. It's on the Columbia River, which creates the border with Oregon, if you know anything about Washington state. And it's to the west of Walla Walla. Walla Walla is on the east side of the state. This is more in the central.
Interesting.
And Horse Heaven Hills is one of the newer AVAs in Washington, but it pumps out some very high-quality wines. For example, Quilceda Creek wine, which comes from Horse Heaven Hills, got a 100-point rating from Robert Parker in 2002 and 2003.
That's not common.
No, for their Cabernet Sauvignon. So they make a lot of cab there. They kind of heavily focus on Cabernet Sauvignon and wines like that. Some other famous wineries from that area are like Andrew Will and Passing Time. There's also a very famous area of vineyards in Horse Heaven Hills called Shampoo. But it's not spelled the way you think it is. It's Champo.
Oh, sorry. I just was going to guess. I almost wanted you to have me guess.
Well, it's too late now.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Champaux, but it's pronounced shampoo, not champaux.
I think I wouldn't have, if you had said it started with a CH, I might have figured it out.
You really? You think you would have spelled that?
Maybe.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Well, no,
We'll never
I ruined
know.
it. I totally ruined
It's fine.
it. I'm sorry.
No,
I should.
no problem.
I need to be more
I'm just
gracious.
trying to be like contributing here.
You know what? I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So anyway, the wines from this area can be very expensive, like hundreds of dollars out of the gate.
Oh, wow.
And Horse Heaven Hills makes up about a quarter of all wine production in Washington state. And that's not a drop in the bucket because we are only second to California in wine production. So Horse Heaven Hills makes a lot of wine. In fact, they make a buttload of wine, which is a technical term that you didn't believe me about.
You just got my attention. I'm like,
But
whoa.
buttload is actually a wine term.
Okay. Tell me more.
A butt is actually equal to 2 hogsheads, which is 63 gallons. So when somebody says a buttload, they're not talking about your booty. They're talking about casks of wine.
I've heard buttload before. I didn't know it was associated
but not talking about your butt.
With wine.
It's not talking about your butt.
I know.
Okay.
Is it spelled B-U-T-T?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. A little bit more information about this wine. It's a blend of 74% Cabernet Sauvignon and 26% Syrah. And a very interesting thing about this is if a wine is 75% of a varietal, then it can be labeled as a single varietal. But they stopped at 74.
Why?
I don't know.
It's a little
Trader Joe's. I'm skep. I'm a little
skep about
sus.
that.
More conspiracy theories. Now, I checked with Cheap Wine Finder. They didn't have any information from the Fearless Flyer, but on the bottle, it says that the bottler is Airway Cellars, which strangely enough is in Santa Rosa, which means they had to truck the grapes from Washington down to Santa Rosa. Not very earth-friendly, TJs. Hello.
True that.
So in addition, ChatGPT couldn't find out any information about this so-called Airway Cellars, and they couldn't find a business registered under that name.
Are we going to die tonight? Like,
I don't know.
Poisoned or something?
Now, here's the interesting thing. At the same address that this Cellars was supposed to be at, they were able to find wine.
Horse heaven.
It's in Santa Rosa. At this same address where this Airway Cellars is, they were able to find that there are a couple of businesses associated with it. Wine of the Month Club and a company called Wine Hooligans.
Oh.
So again, sus.
Okay.
Wine Hooligans now is a wine production company based in Santa Rosa that specializes in bulk wine and custom wine production, and they oversee multiple wine brands, and they provide full-service winemaking like bottling and labeling distribution. But why wouldn't Trader Joe's just say Wine Hooligans? Why did they make up this thing Airway Cellars?
Because they want to bug you.
I think that's it.
They are. They're like, okay, where is Joe Melee?
They want to drive me crazy.
Yeah, they do. They're after you.
Yeah. So that's it. That's a sus. I'm skep. I'm super skep on Trader Joe's. But I think that's enough information on the shady.
It's time to get drunk.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So let's do it. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And again, if you raised your hand, participation points, thank you for doing that. But also, if you have a Trader Joe's wine and you have, or one of these Trader Joe's wines, or just frankly any wine at all, and you drink along with us, you get participation points. And what do you do with those participation points, Carmela?
Turn them in for stickers.
That's right. Just email me at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and I'll send you some goddamn stickers.
He puts them in the envelope. I put them in the mailbox.
Handwritten note with them.
Right.
That's how much we
and
care.
if you can read his writing, that's another bonus
Extra
point.
participation points. All right. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our first wine. This is the Trader Joe's Reserve Arroyo Seco Monterey County Chardonnay lot number 262. It's from Monterey County, California. It's to 2023. $9.99 at Trader Joe's. 14.3% alcohol.
Wow.
100% Chardonnay, and some website called Sipped Wine Reviews gave it a 91, and Vivino had no ratings. But Carmela, when you look at it, you already said it. What do you think?
It's pretty dark.
It's dark. It looks like somebody maybe didn't drink enough water.
But, it's not like sometimes they look kind of viscous or thick. I don't think this one.
Ooh, I kind of do.
Does? Maybe I don't have as much in my glass. I don't know. It's a very dark yellow.
Super dark.
Yeah.
Well, Carmela, what are you smelling?
Well,
It's actually not bad, huh?
No, it's not. It's got some apple on it, for sure. Maybe a little peach even.
Yeah, I agree.
wine. It's a little like cedar. I don't know, those little things that you used to put inside your drawer.
Yes.
Those little pieces of cedar kind of has a bit of a hint of that.
I agree.
Oh boy.
I'm getting buttered popcorn. And I'm getting a little bit of lemon, but also some honey or vanilla.
Okay.
Like do you get a little bit of honey or vanilla?
Yes. It smells sweet.
It does.
It's
it
a little
definitely
bit
does.
of like a sweet, like a brioche, like a sweet bread too,
Yes.
or pastry.
Yeah, I like
an
that.
apple turnover.
Totally. I agree. Should we try it and see what we think?
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of why I don't love Chardonnay. It just, what oaky Chardonnay is, it's like you get the flavor at the very beginning, you get this nice fruit, and then it just feels like it's a caramel candy.
Yeah. It's pretty intense for like a white wine. Like this is a big mouthfeel for me.
I agree. And it's like, I don't want to drink butterscotch. It doesn't, don't you think it's got kind of a butterscotchy
I'm just not
kind of
really
taste?
sure too how it will pair with food.
I agree, but let's not go there yet.
I know, but don't you think it's a lot.
It's
like this
big.
This is somebody just like hanging out drinking this wine. It's a meal.
I think if you like a big, buttery, flavorful, oaky Chardonnay, you probably really like this. But it's just not my cup of tea. It's not our cup of tea.
No.
It's super, like, there's a strong aftertaste on it.
Kind of bitter.
And it's like, it's like the fruit gets killed for me. Like you get the sweetness of the fruit, but then it just becomes again like a butterscotch candy.
Yeah. But the bitterness at the end too, it's almost kind of pithy or something too.
Almost like an apple, like a bitter apple. Like almost like a like a really unripe Granny Smith.
Yeah. I would agree with that actually. And sometimes the rind or the skin, it has a bit of a bitterness on it.
Totally. Almost like, you're just drinking the skins. So what food might you pair with this Trader Joe's Reserve Arroyo Seco Monterey County Chardonnay lot number 262?
I think you're going to have something. I think fried food would be good. I don't know. Maybe like some stinky cheese.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you bring that up, I think that's maybe, it feels like first of all, it's a cocktail wine.
Yeah.
It's not really a wine you need food with. And I agree with you. I think it is a charcuterie board, like before the meal wine, like a brie in pastry. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. And even like a tapenade. I mean, I think there's something with the olives there that might, kind of
briny, kind of salty and briny, might be able to like attack it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But I think it would be hard to pair this with like fish.
I'm having a hard time. That's what I'm thinking though. It would be more. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you nailed it with the charcuterie.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it first. You said the stinky cheese, and I actually think stinky cheese is a great call.
Yeah. But a brie, a stuffed pastry, puff pastry with brie would be really nice. You could put a little fig jam with it too.
Oh, yeah,
that
would
would
nice.
work. Yeah,
that would be nice.
Some crackers, like bready things, would be good too.
Yeah, I think you need something with a little bit of oomph to like
to challenge it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's rate this. As a reminder, on our rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means we'd buy it. 4 below means we're going to pour it down the sink. 5 or 6 means we're going to drink it, but we're probably not going to. We know we're not going to buy it. So, what rating would you? This is a tough one for me.
Yeah.
What rating do you think you're going to give it?
I'm just really thinking a 5 for me. Like I would drink it. I don't know if I could give it a 6. I'm just not really loving it.
I think this is a little bit. I might be being rude. I kind of think I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay. You're not going to even finish it.
No, I don't think I would.
Okay.
I think if I was poured this one. Now, the hard thing for me is it's not like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Wow, that was scary.
Yeah, but it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's, it's not like horrible.
Right. It's not like you're gagging.
No, but it's not a wine that I like. It's not a style of wine that I like.
No.
So I think I am going to give it a 4, but your 5 is totally fair.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, we're not always going to fully agree. I mean, it's definitely, I would finish it.
You would.
Yeah, but I'd be reluctant I would not have another glass. And I would probably be a little reluctant to finish it. Like I might kind of be eyeballing to see if there's something else out there.
That sounds like a solid definition for a 5.
Okay.
I like that. Okay, we're going to take a break and we're going to try our next wine. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our next wine. This is the Trader Joe's Reserve Paso Robles Zinfandel lot number 265. It's from Paso Robles, California, 2023 as well. So it's a little young. $9.99 at Trader Joe's, 14.3% alcohol, so the exact same alcohol as the Chardonnay. It's 100% Zinfandel as far as we know. Reverse Wine Snob gave this a 7.3, and I couldn't find a rating on Vivino. But let's look at the color first.
It's very pretty.
It is pretty.
Yeah, it's a very pretty wine. And you know what? I'll just point out too, this is an interesting shaped bottle. It's sort of skinny.
Yeah. It's like
It's narrow.
Yeah, it's kind of a Cabernet bottle, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're this narrow. Am I dreaming?
No, I think you're right. It is kind of a weird, maybe they got a special deal on
Maybe it's the label that's very narrow. I don't
Or maybe
know.
they just got a special deal on the wine bottles.
Like, whoops.
Hey, we got these crappy ones. You want them?
I don't mind it.
But I think, no, it's very purple. It's kind of a deep purple.
It looks young.
It does look young. And it's almost opaque, but not quite opaque. It's got a little bit, you can see to the bottom, but it's pretty dark. Okay, what are you smelling?
Well, I'm getting like berries, like maybe a dark cherry.
Yeah.
Also getting a little bit of rose on it.
Yes.
You think?
Yes. I thought the exact same thing.
Really?
And smoke, like this one, I didn't get cedar on the Chardonnay. I know you did. This one I'm getting cedar.
Okay.
For sure. Like it's got that wood.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's, I gotta say, it also smells, this is gonna sound stupid, but it shouldn't, grapey. It smells like grape jam.
Yeah, I actually,
grape jelly.
Yes, I am enjoying this smell, this bouquet.
Nice. Yeah.
It's very nice.
It's not like grandma's perfume rose. It's kind of a pleasant rose smell.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's also, I feel like there's a lot going on with the smell.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just very pleasant. You could almost have this as your potpourri.
You know what I'm getting a little scent of?
What?
You might think this is crazy.
I think you are crazy.
We're like a Linzer tort, like or a Linzer cookie, like that kind of
like raspberry?
Raspberry and spice.
There is some spice on this. I would say like clove, a little bit of clove.
That's a good one.
Maybe even a little bit of nutmeg.
Yeah. Baking spices. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Okay, well, let's try it and see what we think. It's not bad.
It's pretty tart.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
It's juicy though. Like it's, you expected Zinfandel to be a little, you don't like it. You don't like it. You don't like it. You don't like it.
I was a little surprised by the taste. I'm going to give it another shot here.
While you're doing that, I'll just say it's very jammy and fruity up front, and it's super dry on the back. Maybe a little bitter on the back.
Ooh, it's very tannic.
Yeah, and you're right. It's like, it's tart, but almost to the point where the tartness is almost vinegary.
Yeah.
I'm
not getting as much fruit on it as
you're
you.
not?
No.
Okay. On the very first taste,
Yeah, I mean, yes. It definitely, though, turns so dry.
Super dry, super tannic.
I mean, and it's like my tongue is
You want to get one of those tongue scrapers?
Exactly. Or actually, no, it's almost like I want to hydrate my tongue.
Like what? How would you hydrate your tongue? Would you just stick it into a glass of water? Hydrate my tongue. That's kind of weird. I've never heard of that.
It feels really dry, like somebody like sucked the juice out of my tongue.
Wow. I would say that's sexy, but it didn't sound sexy.
I really wasn't trying to be sexy.
Okay, well, before we get to that, let's talk about food. What food might you pair with this wine?
Well, what do you think? I'm trying to think here.
I think it's like a cookout wine. Like hot dogs and hamburgers. Like,
okay,
it's not a
pretty
fancy
casual,
wine. Pizza, like we ordered pizza from Domino's, kind of
Domino's, not even like a...
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Like a Little Caesars, kind of a crummy pizza.
Maybe one from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, exactly. A Trader Joe's frozen pizza. You're like, I paid $5 for the pizza. I paid $9 for the wine. It's a great night. We're having a great night.
Exactly.
It's
just a great Tuesday night.
Yeah, this is not a fancy wine. This is I'm a Tuesday night. Exactly. Like I'm drinking wine and eating pizza.
Right.
And crying on the couch.
On a budget on Tuesdays. Oh man, that's like kind of are you by yourself?
Well, I'm by myself and I can't watch Severance because you're not with me.
Oh,
that's why
true.
I'm sad.
And it doesn't come out till Thursday.
Yes, so it's just a bad. I have to watch
Is this supposed to be a pick me up then? Is this a pick me up?
Yeah, it's your guilty pleasure wine and pizza night.
Okay,
That's what I think. That's what I think.
So it's enough that you're like feeling like it's doing something for you.
Yeah, in fact, you might be like if you didn't go to Trader Joe's, you may have gotten just like a Tombstone pizza. You know, like those
Well, this is getting even darker. A tombstone pizza now?
Jeez, I didn't even think about that.
Wow.
Okay.
And you know, it's enough alcohol.
Ooh, you might finish that whole
You might
pizza.
be able to have this on Wednesday night, too.
Yeah, exactly. What rating would you give this wine?
Well, you know, it's certainly not my style to begin with, but I've had a lot better Zins. I mean, like, I'm gonna give it a 5 again.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm actually a little surprised you are. I'm gonna give it a 5 as well. To me, this is the wine. This is exactly how you describe the Chardonnay. I'd drink it and I would finish it, but I would not look for a second glass.
No.
So it's not so bad that I want to pour it down the sink, but it's meh. You know, it's
well,
like,
and that's,
meh.
I mean, I certainly would not look for another glass. And maybe I'm being a little generous, even saying I'd finish it, but it's not not offensive.
No, it's not offensive.
No.
It's Tuesday night pizza and wine night.
By yourself without a good show to watch.
Exactly.
Oh, you're going to bed early.
Or late. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to go take a break and we're going to try our next wine. Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our last wine. This is the Trader Joe's Reserve Horse Heaven Hills Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah, lot number 261. It's from the Horse Heaven Hills, Washington. The year is 2022. It's $9.99 at Trader Joe's. It's only 13.4% alcohol. So this is the lightest alcohol of all three of the wines. 74% Cabernet Sauvignon and 26% Syrah. And I couldn't find any ratings for it. But Carmela, what about the color? It's dark.
It's dark. It's even darker than the last one.
It's opaque.
Yeah.
You really can't see
inky.
the bottom.
Pretty inky.
Inky purple, very deep purple.
Pretty though.
Okay, now what are you smelling?
Well, I'm getting some cherry on it again.
Yeah, to me this is like a little bit of like cherry bramble. You know, it's like cherry and earth, but it's a little bit.
Yeah, a little earthy.
It's also a little perfumey to me.
Ooh, kind of like not great perfume.
Yeah, just a little bit like perfumey, like grandma's perfume.
Poor grandma just gets like the shaft.
I don't know, but
my grandma didn't smell like this.
I was gonna say your grandma didn't get the shaft. I don't know what to say about that. Okay. Remember, kids, this is an adult podcast, okay? This isn't for children.
Wait.
She just got it. Ladies and gentlemen, she just got it. No. Carmela is very innocent usually, but she just got it. Okay, anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. But that's kind of like the overwhelm. Maybe a little plum. Or something plummy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't have a lot going on. Like I don't know.
I'm actually on this one. I'm getting like prune or date, something like that. Something kind of candied.
What? I like that. Maybe even a little figgy. Figgy pudding.
No, figgy.
Figgy. Okay, I'm so stupid. Last week at San Francisco, we went to a restaurant called K Fico. And on the way there, I'm like, Fico? What's Fico? I know what K is, but it's fig. On that note, let's try it and see if we get the shaft.
That's a thing.
No, I know. I know.
That's enough.
Okay. We are having trouble drinking. It's, the prune, you were right, but like a prune pastry or something. It's like prune and spice.
Yeah. It's almost sweet. It's a little like syrupy.
Yeah, like jam. This is like a jam.
Yeah.
Whoa. At the end, though, like on the it's got a really lingering aftertaste. And it's very alcohol-y. Almost like a cherry cordial. Like the inside of a cherry cordial.
Ooh,
like that.
Like a chocolate cherry cordial?
Yeah, like that alcohol and fruit.
Ah.
That's exactly what I got on the back end of it. It is definitely like, yes. You know what? I think that description is perfect. A dark chocolate cherry cordial is what it tastes like to me. And then maybe they put a little cinnamon or something in it.
Yeah, or like Mexican hot chocolate.
Oh, that's a good one. Cayenne and chocolate.
Yeah. Ooh.
And it does have a little taste of like smoke or wood, or almost like incense or something on it in the mouth. More than the smell.
I kind of like it. I like it better than the second one. I mean, I know they're different wines.
I think, you know what? Here's what I think. I think it's only a 2022. I think it actually is pretty young. I think it's pretty is still kind of sharp and hot.
Yeah.
I think it probably needs to air out, like open it up and let it sit for a little bit. Like it's probably going to be better in an hour. And I think if it was a few years older, I think it would be much better wine.
And I do think this would be a good wine. Like it will show itself better if you're having a meal with it.
I fully agree.
I don't think you need to be drinking this on its own.
Yeah, to me, I agree. And to me, this is a perfect example of a wine that's young because it's just like it's super tannic, it's super tight. Like it's not quite, it hasn't opened up. It hasn't kind of reached the right age yet. I bet if you let this sit 5 years, I think you would be doing just fine with it.
Right.
But the problem is that with Trader Joe's wines, people want, if you spend $10 on a wine, your expectation is you're just going to take it off the shelf and drink it.
Right.
But I actually think you'd be better off if you let it sit.
Yeah.
Okay. What food would you have with this vino?
I think you could do like a stew with this.
That's a good call.
I don't know. It tastes a little fall to me. What else?
I think, steaks would be fine. I was actually kind of thinking like a barbacoa, like a spicy Mexican stew. Like when you said stew, I liked stew, but I thought maybe a spicy stew would be good.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice.
Because this has a little spice in it. I think it would do okay with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, anything else?
No, I think we hit it. Like, I think this is definitely a food wine that you want to do meat. Like, it's definitely a meaty wine, too.
Meat and potato.
Yeah, that would be good. Be nice.
So what rating are you going to...
Well, first of all, I think this would be a good cooking wine, too, to pour into a roast.
That's a good call.
That's
actually a really good call.
If you're not into it or you have some left over. It's good cooking
because you don't want to put crappy wine into food. You want to put good wine into food. I agree with you. I think this would be good.
This would do it. So rating, I'm probably not going to buy it. I'm going to give it a 6.
I am super tempted. Here's what I'm going to do. I like that rating. I think if I drank it today, which I did, I would give it a 6. But I actually think I'm going to give it a 7 because on the promise of it.
Nice.
That if we let it sit or we had it in the cellar for 3 or 4 more years, that it would actually be quite a nice wine. And for $10, I think that's okay. So your 6 is totally fair. Like again, I would drink more of this wine. Like if I were at a party, I would go back for seconds.
Okay.
That's why I'm also giving it a 7. Like I think it's a pleasant wine.
Okay.
Which of these wines are you finishing tonight?
You know what? I mean, based off my ratings, this third guy.
Yeah, I agree.
This one right now.
I agree. Okay, well, let's talk about taste profiles.
Okay.
So the Trader Joe's Reserve Arroyo, Seco, Monterey County, Chardonnay, lot number 262. The wine label says bright notes of citrus and green apple balanced with pear, hints of vanilla, and a toasty finish. I think we got a lot of those in it. Sipped review says the wine starts out with a bang of Meyer lemon and grapefruit on the nose. Good intensity, bit of pear, baked apple, and melon. You get lovely full body, medium long finish, amazing concentration of balanced flavors, nice Chardonnay for food or just sipping. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Cheap Wine Finder says a darker tasting Chardonnay, not bright and juicy, more weight on the palate. Tastes like a mix of lemon and ripe apple, Anjou pear, juicy peach, rich vanilla, soft spice.
Everything.
A hint of butterscotch. And stone fruit. So I think they're a little bit closer to what we think. Trader Joe's Paso Robles Zinfandel number 265. The wine label says notes of dark berries and red currants with hints of cranberries and spice on the finish. I think the only thing we got in there was spice.
We did. Yeah. Interesting. Cranberry.
Yeah. It was tart. We were saying it was tart.
Yes.
So I can see where they got currant and black and cranberry. The Spirit of Wine blog says on the palate, touches with black currant, blackberry, and perky plum. Sleek and sparkly. Moving with some cleansing tartness into your cheeks for a slow fade. That's kind of weird and specific. Okay, the Horse Heaven Hills Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah. The wine label says bold and juicy with notes of rich cherry and toasted oak. Agree with that. The Reverse Wine Snob says opens with lots of ripe dark berry fruit on the nose, along with nice touches of spice. Tasty, jammy, not terribly complex, but it works. Ends dry with a good length. Listen to this. By day 2, it was a bit smoother and not as jammy.
Okay. So might need a little room to breathe.
Well, what do you think, Carmela? Trader Joe's Reserve.
Well, I'm not totally convinced. Yeah. I'm a little skep.
Here's what I'd say. For $10, okay, whatever. I think you can do better.
I think you can, and I don't think this is definitely not like, hey, let's gift this wine or let's do this for a dinner party. This is just like, I want to pull out a bottle of wine and don't want to have spent a lot.
Yeah.
And I think you can do better. You're right.
And I kind of feel like this is the epitome to me of like bulk wine. They're just making bulk wines. They're not great. They're okay, which is fine. Yeah. $10. What are you going to do? Right.
I mean, actually, you're not going to get much better of a price.
No. But what I wouldn't say is I don't think it compares to wines twice as expensive. No. I think you can get wines at $20 that are way better than this.
Right. Agreed.
So it's probably worth its price. Let's just put it that way. Maybe it's
priced correctly.
Yeah. So maybe it's comparable to like a $13 bottle of wine or something. Mm-hmm. Okay, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't done so yet, now would be the perfect time to follow or subscribe to our podcast and a great time to leave a nice rating and review on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And thanks for all the support. We love to hear from you. We'd love to hear about wines you want us to taste and review or wine areas of the world you want us to check out. You can leave a message for us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. Join our email newsletter there. And you can always email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. Hey, we'll send you stickers. And so with that, we're going to sign off. We want to thank you once again. We'll see you next time. And like we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
And the happy ending.